This is Brexiteer Kate Hoey, who spouted some awful stuff on Newsnight, from the Chagos Islands to Brexit to the EU and Donald Trump. And in this video we're going to break those points down and show you why they're so horrific. She was also joined by a former Conservative MP and Ollie, Chief Editor of Politics Joe. Let's kick off with Kate talking about the Chagos Islands, and bear in mind she's a Brexiteer, so she's all about sovereignty.
I think Starmer should announce tomorrow that he's going to give up on selling off the Chagos Islands. I think that would go down brilliantly with Trump.
I completely agree. I mean, it's about, even if Trump didn't exist, as it were, we shouldn't pay to give away the Chagos Islands. That's ridiculous.
Now, what they're not telling you is the history of the islands, which actually should belong to Mauritius. But Britain separated the Chagos Islands from Mauritius in 1968, 3 years before Britain gave Mauritius independence. In 1966, Britain leased Diego Garcia, the largest island, to the United States, and they did so by forcibly expelling around 2,000 Chagonesians. Furthermore, in 2019, the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, ruled that Britain's occupation of the islands was illegal.
Of the opinion that the United Kingdom is under an obligation to bring to an end its administration of the Chagos Archipelago as rapidly as possible.
In 2019, the UN General Assembly, 116 countries voted for the UK to return the islands. So for someone who is demanding sovereignty for Britain, isn't it amazing she doesn't want that for Mauritius? And then there was her disgusting like of Trump over the European Union. Have a listen.
Of course, we know that President Trump would love to come and visit us all, perhaps even come on Newsnight.
Well, that would be incredible. He absolutely would have a seat on our sofa, of course. And a state visit, we're told, is in the offing at some point.
Yes, that's right. They are fawning over Donald Trump and their love for him and how he should be on their TV channel and how we should roll out the red carpet for him again. Bear in mind, last time we did that, there was no trade deal, which you can't get without Congress giving the green tick. And that's not going to happen if that trade deal in any way affects the border on Northern Ireland and Ireland.
Today, our Prime Minister is having dinner with the EU 27, when no doubt they'll not be talking about all the things they were going to talk about. They'll be talking about tariffs and so on. And, you know, really, why is he rushing to go back to? Why does he want to be the first Prime Minister to have dinner with the EU 27 since we left?
I love Ollie's reaction of him just jutting out the chin, being like, what are you talking about?
27 since we left.
They're our largest trading partner.
Yeah, so what? You don't have to
we
go
have shared security and defence interests.
She thinks it's possible to get a trade deal by going to all 27 countries individually, instead of just meeting them at the council. But also note how Ollie pointed out to her that trade is really important with our closest neighbours. They're their biggest trading partner. And she doesn't seem to care about that. To which that makes me go, why does she love Trump so much? But not only that, she's desperate to get some Trump approval. Have a listen to some of the stuff that he said just before he got elected.
They're coming from 181 countries as of yesterday. Right in, we're a dumping ground. We're like a garbage can for the world. These are stone cold killers. They'll walk into your kitchen, they'll cut your throat. I don't know if you call them people. In some cases, they're not people, in my opinion, but I'm not allowed to say that because the radical left says that's a terrible thing to say. They're destroying the blood of our country. That's what they're doing. They're destroying our country. They don't like it when I said that. And I never read Mein Kampf. They said, oh, Hitler said that in a much different way.
Is this some of the stuff that Kate likes? Now we're going to come back to Hitler a little bit later on, because there's a reason why we should be connecting to Europe, and it involves Vladimir Putin and Poland. But I'm going to give you a warning here. Get ready for this, because this is the most harrowing thing I've ever seen. People have voted for this in America, and Kate really digs this guy.
I don't want my dad. No, the Hispanic people are not doing nothing bad. And I'm so hungry right now. I need my dad for me. My dad didn't do nothing. He's not a criminal.
And she wants us to roll out a red carpet for that disgrace. In fact, Kate even said this.
Push it back a bit.
Can I say he should come to the Open Golf Championship being held in Portrush? next.
Good
quite possible.
plug for Northern Ireland there. Okay. Very good.
And it wasn't just me that was feeling some regret about having that person anywhere near government. What I find funny in all of this is how there's a reoccurring pattern. The Chagos Islands should be given to America, America should be lauded with Trump, EU bad, Mauritius bad. Starting to notice a pattern here. How she ever got into government, I'll never understand. But there was more.
Yeah. You don't have to treat them as if we're still in the European Union.
No, and that
pretending that the EU doesn't exist, you might as well pretend that the Earth is flat. Sure, you can argue your point, but reality is going to hit you like gravity.
Dinner tonight, the main discussion was defence. It's an informal European Council. It was all about defence. It was chaired by Kate's favourite person, Donald Tusk, who is now the Prime Minister of Poland and was the President of the European Council during the Brexit referendum. And he didn't really take Brexit terribly well. Anyway, it's defence, and Keir Starmer is putting a 5-point plan on the table. We've just learnt in the last few minutes or so of what he said at this dinner tonight. A 5-point plan on defence, Ukraine top of the list. Number 5, interestingly, deepening industrial collaboration, saying we should work together. Fragmentation weakens us all.
Once again, Brexit being a key issue, and Keir Starmer's bringing it up in front of the council with a hidden message. Hey, we need to work together to solve this. We have an enemy at the border. We need to exit Brexit.
And this really goes back to the Theresa May approach, which was defence. That was the idea. That would be part of the formal relationship. That sort of fell by the wayside with Boris Johnson. There's a very strong view that we should, from this government, we should have a bespoke defence agreement. Maybe that can oil the wheels for a larger resetting of the relationship. But a very strong view from the Cabinet that what Emmanuel Macron was supposedly talking about today, which is the UK is a demandeur. The view from the Cabinet, we are not a demandeur. We have a lot we can put on the table.
Isn't it wild that we're now doing, quote-unquote, the Brexit reset after Brexiteers said that everything was going to be perfect and we were going to leave and everything was going to be better? And now, according to the French, we're coming back and saying, please, sir, can we have some concessions? And it's going to get a whole lot worse for Kate because she made this quote to Ireland about Brexit.
We joined the EU together. You joined when we joined, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we leave, and when we are very successful, that you don't start thinking about leaving as well.
And then I checked on Northern Ireland's growth, and it's shocking, because it's clear evidence that staying in the single market would have made us boom at this point.
Exactly the point, I think. One of the most depressing things has been Macron's response, as though, oh God, we're going to do the Brexit negotiations all over again. Britain leading the way on security, and you know, I haven't seen the 5-point plan, but whatever it is, actually would serve 2 purposes. One, it's to Europe's benefit. We've got the Russians in Ukraine. It's a huge existential problem for the Baltic states and for Poland and so on. So that's in Europe's interest. It's not particularly in Britain's interest.
Holy shit. I'm going to give you a World War II recap. The reason Britain ended up finally getting involved in World War II is because of Poland. And you've just heard a Conservative MP say, why would we get involved? It's not our problem. It's to do with Europe.
That's in Europe's interest. It's not particularly in Britain's interest.
This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, a state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war with Germany.
I'm sorry to say, but we have some of the weakest politicians in British history, and we are seeing time and time again a repeat of the stuff that happened in the 1920s and 30s, and it led to this.
For nearly 3 weeks, Warsaw Radio had defiantly played the Polish national anthem.
A hatred of foreigners, a hatred of immigrants, a hatred of people who were different. These are the words that came out in the 1930s.
They don't like it when I said that, and I never read Mein Kampf. They said, oh, Hitler said that in a much different way.
But on top of that, We're seeing ambivalence and misunderstanding of events and not standing up to bullies. Instead, we're rolling out the red carpet for them.
And then the students are crying because of their daddy, mom, Mrs. I don't want my dad. No, the Hispanic people not doing nothing bad. They're not stealing nothing. My dad bought everything for me to live over here. The rent, and I don't know what I'm going to eat. And I'm so hungry right now. I need my dad for me. My dad didn't do nothing. He's not a criminal.
Vas a llegar con... Mira, ella te va a explicar y te va a ayudar.
Taking babies away from their mother and locking up one or the other and separating them because they didn't no harm to anybody. They just didn't comply with the stupid regulations. That's a crime against humanity, in my judgment. The Statue of Liberty stands there, you know, send me you're tired, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Where? We don't see it in this country, and it pains me. And that's the world in which we live. And we've got to change it or perish.
First they came for the socialists and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak for me. Martin Niemöller.
Martin Niemöller was a priest who spoke out against the Nazi regime, even though originally he had supported them in some of the ideas. It's interesting because when I hear that speech, I also think to myself, first they came for Ukraine and I did not speak out because I was not Ukrainian. And they came for Mexico and I did not speak out because I was not Mexican. Then they came for Canada and I did not speak out because I was not Canadian. Then they came for Europe and I did not speak out because I was not European. And they came for me and there was no one left to speak for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have I pushed it too far? Once again, thank you to my YouTube members and subscribers. You keep this channel going and growing. If you'd like to help out, there's a link in the description. Otherwise, thanks for listening. Bye for now.